Mac Jones, welcome to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Hey, very well, very well. Just counting down the days. I mean, I guess it's a little passion that we have. 209 days away from Florida State, about 31 from spring practice. You ready for spring practice?
Yes, sir. I'm really excited for the whole opportunity and to get in there and hopefully get some reps and get around the guys. So it should be exciting.
Mac, I want to get your thoughts on so many different things, but being a quarterback and watching the Super Bowl last night, I'm just curious to hear your thoughts about the quarterbacks in the Super Bowl last night.
I thought both of them played really well, and obviously, I kind of fell asleep during it, and then because I thought it was going to be, it was kind of over, so I was like, all right, I'll go to bed. And then I was like listening in my bedroom, and I heard that they were coming back, and Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that. So I came out and watched it, and I knew right when they were driving, I knew that they were going to score and get the 2 points. So, I thought both quarterbacks did a good job, and I really like Tom Brady. He's like one of my favorite quarterbacks. So it was good to see him get another ring.
I want to ask you a lot of different things, and I do appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to help us out here on the show. And I want to spend a couple of minutes. It sounds so simple, but when you look at Nick Saban being one of the greatest coaches to ever walk the sidelines, what is it like to be recruited by Nick Saban, to get those phone calls, to be able to sit in his office? I mean, you're having a chance that most people will never have a chance to do. What is it really like to being recruited to the University of Alabama by Nick Saban?
It's definitely a unique opportunity, and that's something that you can, after you're done playing, you can say, hey, like one of the greatest coaches of all time recruited me. And for me, one of the special things he did was he came to our school on a helicopter. So I'll be able to tell my grandkids that Coach Saban came and talked to me, and he landed on my field in a helicopter, and it was a big deal, and that's something that will probably live with me forever. But regardless of that, I mean, just our relationship has been really good, and just talking to him is awesome. Every time we talk, it's not necessarily about football all the time, and I just really like how he serves as that father-like figure. So,
when you look at it, landing a helicopter, Nick Saban certainly is one of the best when we talk about recruiting. I think he was one of the very few coaches that started doing this. But I mean, quarterbacks are always the cool kids on campus, but that cool factor just goes up when Nick Saban lands on your turf with a helicopter, I would imagine.
Yes, sir. You could say that.
But let me ask you about the official visit when Nick Saban visits the house. I mean, what's that like?
Like when he comes to our house.
Yeah.
That was pretty. Well, he didn't come to my house, but like I said, he landed a helicopter on the stuff, and then the assistant coaches came to my house, and since he was restricted with time, we pretty much just met at the school for like an hour and a half. So, but having Coach Sarkeesian and Coach Key come to my house was pretty cool. We got to eat lunch and stuff, and it's always good to have someone like a coach that you're going to be with for the next couple of years, kind of to come into your house and see what it's like and see how you live. So that's always good to build a relationship and have them, come into your house. So.
How much was it that Sark? How long did it take you as far as time to buy into what he was trying to sell you on?
I mean, I was bought in from the start. I mean, just talking to him, he's really just a laid back coach, and he's a really good quarterback coach, and he calls good plays as well. So I knew that going in, that when he was an analyst, that he was a great coach, and that if he did get hired as offensive coordinator, then obviously I'd be really happy with it. And just getting to know him, the fact that he's just really laid back and also serves as that father-like figure who you can talk to him about really anything. That's something that really appealed to me.
It was a priority in my understanding, and I don't know for certain. I mean, I don't have his phone records, but it was a priority to him. I know he's talked about you a couple of days ago at a big banquet here in Tuscaloosa when they sort of recognize all the signees, and they talk about what each player. But he made it a priority to go after you, and I think it was one of the first phone calls that he made. Once he got that job, he wanted to make sure that you were still engaged in the Crimson Tide. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, he called me the day he got the job, and I was actually about to go on a cruise, so it was good for him to check in with me, and that meant a lot to me. And just talking to him, even from the first start, just I could just tell what type of person he was, and that's kind of like, without even talking to him and sitting down with him, just that one phone call made me kind of realize, hey, this guy, knows what he's talking about and would be a really good fit for me as a coach.
Let me ask you your plans. When will you arrive in Tuscaloosa? Because I've been affiliated with the University of Alabama. I went here, but I didn't know a lot about spring number 2. Nick Saban has taken advantage of this, and you're going to be an early enrollee, but you are not going to set to arrive for a few more days. Talk about that process.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but I was qualified, from the start. I didn't even have to go to my senior year. I was already fully qualified, so my school just didn't let me graduate early for whatever reason. But it's been a crazy little process. But I start classes next Monday, and I think I'm going up a few days early to set up my stuff and all that and try and get used to it a little bit. But it's definitely going to be different, but I'm really excited about the opportunity.
Mac, when you've got an established quarterback like Jalen Hurts that's here at Alabama, what went into that process of still choosing, even though that Jalen had all the success that he had throughout the year, that you still sort of stuck with your commitment and said, I'm going to go to Tuscaloosa and compete? What went into that decision-making?
I knew Jalen was obviously a great player and stuff, and we're completely different type quarterbacks. So, it went into my decision, but I always just kind of focused on myself, and obviously Jalen's the starter and everything, and I'm looking forward to working with him and learning from him. And when I was in high school, when I was younger, I had someone that was kind of like a mentor to me that was an older quarterback. So hopefully, Jalen can kind of serve as that, and I can learn from him and, just focus on myself and not have to worry about anybody else and just try to better myself. And if I can help out the team any way I can, so I'm looking forward to that.
When I look at the recruiting process, how stressful is that?
It definitely is a little bit of a burden on your mental part of your body, but having.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was going to say, well, you said a cruise a while ago. I mean, that'll get you away from the recruiting process, right?
Yeah.
No phones, no service, no internet. I mean, that's perfect, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely stressful, but having decommitted from a school and stuff, and getting a bunch of offers, it was really a good experience just about life and how you should never burn bridges with anybody or anything like that, and really just listen to people and what they have to say and make a decision based on what's best for you. So I learned that through my recruiting process, and I think that, although it was really tough, I learned a lot from it, and it'll make me a better person. So,
Mac, describe your play for those who may have not had a chance to watch you in person and what you bring.
I just like managing the game and just doing whatever I can to help out the team. And some people think I'm not as athletic as I am, but I'm pretty athletic, and I've played sports my whole life, and I love competing. So I'm always down just to help out the team and get the job done and manage the game. That's pretty much what I do.
Let me ask you about a quarterback coach. Will that continue here?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, once you arrive on campus, you'll go through 15 days of spring practice. Will you go back home and train? Because, a lot of people may or may not know this, but, quarterbacks train obviously year-round. Sometimes
right.
you have an individual quarterback. Will that continue? And who are you working with? I'm just curious.
I've worked with a bunch of different people. Actually, every quarterback coach I've worked with has pretty much moved somewhere. So I started out with, this guy named Tom Wagers, and he lives in Missouri now. So I had to get a new person. And then I worked with Joe Dickinson for a while, and he moved to Oklahoma. And then now I really just worked with my high school coaches, and a lot of the stuff is on my own. And obviously I have coaches that help me out, but
sure, I
don't really need, having done all the technique and all that stuff, I just need someone to kind of watch over to make sure I'm not doing anything crazy wrong. But having, done it for so long, I understand the mechanics of throwing and things like that. But I definitely go out and throw with receivers whenever I get a chance, and really just work with receivers from around my area.
Well, how excited are you to work with Sark? Because, some have described his ability with grooming quarterbacks. He's sort of like the quarterback whisperer. Sark's got a huge reputation of developing big-time quarterbacks.
Yes, he has always had really good quarterbacks, and all of his quarterbacks have been able to throw the ball really well. And I think that's something that appeals to me. And that watching, just watching the quarterbacks that he's had reminds me of myself. So that's good to know. And he's done a great job with, all of his quarterbacks. You go back and look at, when he was at Washington and USC, and he produced, really good quarterbacks. So to know that he's done it with more than one quarterback and it's not just one guy that's making his system look good is definitely reassuring.
Let me ask you about pressure of winning at Alabama, and you probably will not really understand this till it gets on campus. When you look at Alabama, it's all about winning a championship, a national title. And this year, had a great run. But in Tuscaloosa, success is really defined by winning a championship, winning a national title. They won an SEC title. They beat Washington in the Peach Bowl. Can you feel that pressure from your perspective as you committed to a school that understands that's where the goals? It's sort of like the New York Yankees. They claim World Series titles. The Lakers the same way. It's just one of those that comes with it. New England, same thing. It's all about Super Bowl championship for them, and that's the way it is in Tuscaloosa. Can you feel that pressure as a recruit?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that goes into my decision is just being able to fill, the spots and just try and, win a championship and know that that's the expectation is something that a recruit, kind of looks at like, wow, I want this pressure. I want to, go out and compete and bring back something to a town that, really wants it. So, that's definitely coming from a school that winning is a big deal. My high school coach is like the winningest coach in Florida, and he has like 11 state championships. It's just, we always focus on the little things, and the big things are now okay. I really think that going to Alabama is a transition, but I'm looking forward to having that pressure to win.
Hey, Mac, I'm just curious, what will you major in here at Alabama?
I'm not really sure yet. I was going to national business because I speak Chinese, but I might go in undecided.
Now, hold on a minute. You already speak Chinese?
Yes. I've taken it for like 4 years, so.
Wow. Can you give us like the roll tide in Chinese? Is there?
There's not, whenever there's something like that, they kind of just turn it into like English. But
okay, all right. How about Alabama and Chinese? Alabama and Chinese? Is it?
They'll just say like Alabama. Like
okay.
That.
Man.
Kind of weird, but they always with American words, they always try and change it and to make it sound Chinese. If that makes sense.